Folks, I gotta tell you, I got real questions as to exactly what's going on with our administration and even our, government. My question is, is Russia really controlling a lot of this stuff? All right, and I say that because it's not, or wasn't just Mike Pence that Flynn lied to, but the president lied to Mike Pence as well by not informing him of the truth of what went on and the fact that Flynn had lied to him. Now, the Republicans also have to take a look at themselves, and they got to answer a question, and that question is, are they going to go along to get along, or are they going to operate for the good of the country? And thus far, based on all of the various reportings, they seem like they're more go along to get along than anything else. Now, that being said, on January 15th, okay, Mike Pence went on Face the Nation and he said, that everything was okay with Flynn, and there had been no talks whatsoever regarding the sanctions that President Obama had put on Russia on December the 29th. Now, a little later on, James Clapper, Brennan, and Yates all wanted to tell the president about the information that they had on Flynn. But of all people, guess who fought it? It was FBI Director Comey. Apologize for that. Every time I make a video, seems like my dog comes to this side of the house to start barking. But anyway, back to where I was. FBI Director Comey had fought them informing the president of the problem. Finally, on January the 26th, Yates, the temporary Attorney General, basically bit the bullet, and she went and told the White House counsel about the problems that were going on with Flynn. Now that was January the 26th. Instead of Donald Trump telling Mike Pence what was going on, he kept him out of the loop until February the 9th, which was approximately 15 days. So that just tells me that Pence isn't in the loop for anything major. And I wonder how that makes Mike Pence feel. Because if it was me, I'd feel like a piece of crap that this guy lied to me, number one. The president knew that he lied to me, number two. And number three, the only reason I'm being told now is because all of the information is getting ready to go public. Now, Donald Trump apparently has no problem with lying, skirting the truth, and basically shining everybody on. He was asked a question on February the 10th regarding the information that was getting ready to come out on Mike Flynn. And he danced around the reporter's question. This all took place on Air Force One, where he claimed no knowledge about the report that was coming out, but he knew about the substance. So he, in effect, lied to America, if not indeed, which obviously he didn't, or probably didn't know about the actual physical report, so that portion of it was truthful, but morally, he knew damn well what they were talking about, and he tried to shine it on. He claimed that he knew nothing about the reports of Flynn talking to the Russians about sanctions. And again, although technically correct, that was morally deficient as far as I'm concerned. Now, on February 14th. Sean Spencer went on TV with his press conference that he does daily, and he spun. And he spun by locking in on the report and not the substance aspect. Fox News didn't push back on him, which they never do, regarding the moral aspect of it, because all they had to say was, hey, look, whether you knew about the report or not, you damn sure did know what the problem was as far as Flynn was concerned. Now, did Flynn offer his resignation, or was it asked for? The spin which Kellyanne Conway said that Flynn offered his resignation. An hour later, Spicer said that the president asked for his resignation. Now, Kellyanne Conway, in my opinion, she is not on the loop on anything, okay? She's not in any of the major meetings. She's not giving any specific lines that are to be followed. She just goes out there in front of cameras and wings it. And her reputation now is so bad that various shows on MSNBC and CNN are refusing to put her on. She's asking to come on and they're telling her no. The only place that she's able to appear, and even that's been cut down, is on Fox News. Now, the bottom line is there apparently appears to be no solid relationship between President Trump and the vice president. Steve Bannon's policies are basically king for a day or a week or a month or for however long. And the one guy that's in the White House that everybody was railing about being against, Jared Kushner, he seems to be the only one up in there that's got a level head, and he's basically been designated as the official cleaner-upper of all the mess. So between those two guys, they're the ones calling the shots. Reince Priebus is a waste of space. He is not doing a damn thing in the White House. And the other two guys that are, I guess, the Secretary of Defense and who's the other one? Secretary of Defense and the head of the CIA, they're basically trying to get in and repair the damage that Trump's done as far as the relationship between our intelligence agencies and Trump. Because obviously the public is eating up all of these leaks. And this administration is leaking like a sieve. I mean, Obama's guys leaked somewhat. But Trump's administration, like I said, new stuff comes out every single day. And they are at the point where when something comes out, they're not even bothering to deny it. Now, the latest thing going is tying the Trump campaign to communications with the Russians before the elections. And not just any old Russians. The Russians that they are being tied to are the Russians that are running their intelligence operations. Now, again, we're being told that the goods are in as far as there actually being contact, but that there was no coordination between the Trump campaign and Russian intelligence. My question is, can we really believe that, given the actions of the Russians and the timing? Not to mention Paul Manafort, who's currently under FBI investigation. This guy absolutely had a line into the Russians, and everybody knows it. Now, another major question I have is, where the hell is FBI Director Comey in all this? The reason I ask that question is, number one, Comey was the one dissenting voice that wanted Trump not to be told about the problem that he had with Manafort. I'm sorry, Manafort, with Flynn. Okay. And Comey also knew that he had the Trump campaign under investigation for colluding with the Russians or acting improperly. He never made an announcement about that, and that is still ongoing. But at the same time, he did make an announcement dogging out Hillary Clinton. Now, I'm not a Clinton fan, but right is right and wrong is wrong. And if you're going to make an announcement of that magnitude about one campaign, you don't sit on a major announcement about another. Now, Mike Flynn was a Russian asset waiting to happen. Why is that? Because when Mike Flynn got kicked to the curb by President Obama, he couldn't get a job as a dog catcher in Washington, i.e., as a lobbyist with a cushy job. He couldn't get a sniff. So, what did he do? He got recruited by the Russians. And there's plenty of documentation and pictures of him being paid to give speeches, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and sitting at, on one occasion, sitting at the same table with Vladimir Putin. So he was damaged goods just waiting to be acquired. Now you got this jerk, Stephen Miller, who is an avowed white supremacist, making statements about President Trump having absolute power to do damn near anything. And yeah, he did couch it as far as it being, as far as Trump having control over immigration policy as to who to let in. But if you refer back to Omarosa's video where she said it's just going to be a question of time before everybody bows down to Donald Trump, you know, that is a disturbing tie together, to be honest with you. You also have Trump attacking both the press and the judiciary. You just don't do that. So, Sean Spencer claimed in his latest press conference that he had no information whatsoever on the Trump campaign having any contact with Russian intelligence. And then he got outed the next day by the New York Times, who apparently has a ton of information. And then when the White House, Mr. Spicer, and the FBI were questioned about this, now all of a sudden nobody is making or is allowed to make any comment. I don't know. There's a lot of dots that need to be connected. One of those dots was Trump asking Russia to hack Clinton. There's no actual evidence reported thus far as for actually tying his campaign together with coordination with the Russians. But then you have the curious fact of Rudy Giuliani knowing what's going on as far as Comey getting ready to come out with that statement on Clinton. He made his pronouncements on a Tuesday, and Comey dropped that bomb on her that Friday. You got Jason Chaffetz that's ducking the issue of full and complete investigations. You got Mitch McConnell ducking and passing the buck by not calling for an independent committee to do the investigation. You got Republican senators claiming that investigating the leaking of the information being more important than actually investigating the information itself. Paul Ryan is also ducking the issues, and he basically is trying to fall back on the Trump lost confidence in Flynn, and that's why he had to go. But did it take 2 weeks for Trump to lose confidence in Flynn, or was it the public exposure of exactly what was going on for that trust to be lost? Now, here's another piece. I just found out that Congress has the ability to get Donald Trump's tax returns, but the Republicans are blocking all efforts to do so. I ask you, is this openness and transparency, or is this the Republicans ducking and covering and protecting the asses of Donald Trump and everybody else because they are trying to hang on to power? The Russians lost one asset, which is Mike Flynn, but it appears that they still have their main asset in play, which is Donald Trump.